Welcome to the Retro Graveyard. This is the Philips 22 AF200 or Stereo 200 portable record player from 1980. It needs a new stylus and it's skipping when playing. So let's have a closer look and sort out those issues now. It's quite a lightweight unit when it's all together. Looking around it, there are no sockets of any kind. It has two detachable speakers which are clipped into place here. One on the bottom and one on the top. So once the top one has been taken off, it reveals the player itself and the power cable. As you can see, it's quite messy in here with these wires. The speakers can be set up like this or further apart. The speaker wire is a good length. We have the platter here on the left, then the arm and the 3 dial switches on the right. Each speaker has its own volume and there is a dial to switch between 45 or 33 speed. To start playing a record, you move the arm to the right until you hear a click and the turntable starts to move. Then it's just a case of placing the arm on the record. When it gets to the end of the record, it will automatically stop. Then it's just a case of lifting the arm back into position. Unfortunately, mine has a piece missing for lifting the arm up. I was surprised just how loud the volume is on this. I expected it to be quiet and tinny sounding, but it's actually pleasant to listen to and I wouldn't need to play it at full volume to get the most out of it. As I said before, there are no sockets of any kind on here, which is a shame as there is no way to listen privately through headphones. Here's a closer look at those speakers. They are 8 ohm and 0.8 watt each. Now let's have a look inside. To remove the platter, there is a small screw underneath that needs to be taken out as it holds the platter in place. Now I can lift it straight off. I was quite surprised to find that this wasn't a belt driven turntable. It actually uses a motor to turn this rubber disc. As it turns, it grips the underside edge of the platter and turns it. It's quite a clever way to achieve that. Now this is what we have underneath the player, so there's not much going on really. Here we have the circuitry, the power unit right under the platter, and here's the motor that drives it. I'll put all this back together now. Now where did this bit come from? I'm guessing it holds the platter in place and that is what the screw screws into. Not sure which way up it goes. And got it. So now it's all reassembled. I need to change the needle. This one is totally worn down. Very simple to change. This just pulls out. And then just push the new one in place. I've noticed when testing this out that the record is skipping a lot. After closer inspection, I found this small metal bar is supposed to hold the arm in place, but it isn't going all the way through to the other side, and this has made the arm loose at the back. So I'll just pop that back into position. No more skipping. The tracking force recommended for this stylus is 4 to 6 grams. I wanted to measure the tracking force on here, but it maxed out my scale, so it's definitely over 5 grams. Unfortunately, I can't tell you how much over though. Over 5 grams may or may not damage your vinyl, depending on who you ask. I guess if you were using this as your only record player, you might want to think about having a better quality one at home and only using this out and about occasionally. I think I need some better scales. Here we can see the AF200 in a Philips stereo sound catalogue from 1980 with some similar models such as the AF100, which is a mono version of the 200. Then there is the AF300, which has two 5 watt speakers that fit on top. Lastly, the non-portable AF310, again with 5 watt speakers that don't attach to the lid, as this one has its own dust cover. Let's have a look at the specs here, in English. It mentions here that it has the auto stop function, an electronically controlled motor, and it weighs approximately 2.7 kg. As you can see, it certainly has a cool late 70s, early 80s retro style, if you like that sort of thing. So that was the Philips 22 AF200. I'm not sure how much these were sold for at the time, but they go for around £70 on eBay right now in working order. Despite its surprisingly loud speakers and ease of use, there are some drawbacks. The whole thing feels very cheap, more like a toy than a real record player. Also, the way the wire packs away fills me with anxiety when I think about the plug bashing into the arm when it's being carried, causing all sorts of damage, including to the needle. I mean, it does have a bit of protection, but it's so flimsy, I think it could easily break off. On the other hand, it's still a fun product that I would have loved to have carried around to a friend's with a box of records back in the 70s, if I was old enough to then, which I wasn't quite. Anyway, I'm off to see what else I can find in the retro graveyard. Thanks for your attendance.